Jimmy Hill for Match of the Day.
Sanchez was in there, and that's a goal for Wimbledon. Lori Sanchez. It's a weird and wonderful world if you come from Wimbledon. They've won the FA Cup.
Just 99 days ago, Wimbledon humbled league champions Liverpool in the FA Cup final with that Lori Sanchez goal. The question this afternoon, as they walked onto the Wembley turf, this time for the FA Charity Shield, was, could they do it again? Good evening and welcome to Match of the Day for the FA Charity Shield game from Wembley between Liverpool and Wimbledon. And with me is Trevor Brooking, who will be passing an opinion or two on that game and on England's prospects in the World Cup. But first, the action from Wembley, described by your commentator, John Watson.
So, with Ian Rush shortly to be restored to the Liverpool lineup, their team today shows 3 changes from the Cup final. Barry Venison plays right back. Steve Nicol is out with a groin strain. Ronnie Whelan has regained the number 5 shirt from Nigel Spackman, and he's also the new captain now that Alan Hansen has had a knee operation. And Hansen's replacement at number 6 is 20-year-old Alex Watson, brother of Everton's Dave, who's made only 2 league appearances, but who's preferred today to Jan Molby. Wimbledon make 5 changes from their cup-winning team. John Scales is at right back because Goodyear is injured. Vaughan Ryan replaces the suspended Vinnie Jones at number 4. At number 6, Peter Corley takes over from the departed Andy Thorne. Carlton Fairweather gets the vote over Alan Cork at number 8. And the reason that cup final goal scorer Lori Sanchez is now captain is that Wimbledon's Maytime hero Dave Besant has left for Newcastle, leaving this young man, 20-year-old Simon Tracy, to make his senior debut at Wembley Stadium. What a day for him. Well, on cup final day, it was Dave Besant and Alan Hansen. Today, tossing the coin, it's Ronnie Whelan with Lori Sanchez. And the referee there, John Martin from Hampshire, at the age of 49, believed to be the oldest official to take charge of a domestic occasion here at Wembley. He's starting his 2nd extension on the Football League list beyond the normal retiring age of 47. And his linesmen are Mike Reed of Birmingham and Ian Cruikshanks of Hartlepool. Bright sunshine for Liverpool's 10th appearance in the 15 Charity Shield matches to be played at Wembley. And they've got a good following again here today. Here's Beardsley. And Aldridge lurking. And couldn't find Houghton. Here's McMahon. Beardsley again. Plenty in the centre here. Corner to Liverpool. Off Phelan. Nice to see the young supporters mixing. Barnes with the corner. Watson is forward. Fashanu away. And the player manager has decided not to name himself among the substitutes. There's Ronnie Whelan. Barnes. And Simon Tracy makes his first save, and he'll be pleased with that. Getting down to his left to turn aside the shot from John Barnes, who was given space there. And Watson was again competing there. Venison's in with the tackle. Watson! Well, that might have been a dramatic start for him. He looks very much like Dave, actually, doesn't he? His elder brother, who plays for Everton in England. But John Barnes there saw the space opening up, and young Simon Tracy, South London lad from Woolwich, started his first team debut in this famous arena by making a very decent save. Ryan. Wise. Sanchez on Barnes. It was Watson. Both teams have been away on tour, but it is still pre-season, and there are players definitely yet to find their touch. And one player who won't be finding his for a while anyway is Alan Cork, who today is among the Wimbledon substitutes. Now, he does do a Dave Besant, Simon Tracy. Wise. Here's Houghton. Now Beardsley's off behind Crawley, and the goalkeeper's come a long way this time. And he's made a sound start. Venison. Houghton. Beardsley. Offside flag was up anyway. So the flag saved Simon Tracy any embarrassment there. John Aldridge in the centre had strayed offside. Next to Bobby Gould there in the white shirt, Terry Burton, formerly of Arsenal, who's been appointed reserve team coach this season at Plough Lane. There's Gibson challenging Watson. Ablett's there too. Throw-in's been given. Ryan. Now, there was definitely something off the ball there. Eric Young was the offender on Steve McMahon, and the referee was quick to see what happened. Fashionu's joining in the arguments, but actually it was Young there, running back, who was the Wimbledon player pulled up. A flag up for offside. It's quite interesting that John Fashanu seems to be muttering away at the Liverpool players all the time, perhaps trying a little bit of psychology again there. This is Wise. Fashanu! Oh, it's a goal for Wimbledon! And, well, the psychology must have worked, because John Fashanu has headed Wimbledon into the lead, just as Sanchez did on Cup final day. This time it's 17 minutes into the match, and Bruce Grobbelaar left to reflect on another headed goal by Wimbledon. Got to give credit again to the little man Dennis Wise, how many crosses he supplies for Wimbledon, and Fashanu's header was perfectly placed, and indeed straight from the kickoff John Fashanu gets himself involved again. I have the feeling that he'd been winding up a few of the Liverpool defenders in the 5 or 6 minutes prior to the goal, but it says so much again about Wimbledon that the cross came from Dennis Wise. Here's Gary Ablett. Here's Gillespie. Ablett. Oh, good running by Ronnie Whelan here. Oh. So the Liverpool captain going searching for the equaliser. Simon Tracy had come all the way, and if anything, he forced Whelan to lift it a little too high. Now, what about the goal? Dennis Wise, so accurate with these crosses, just needs a bit of room, perfectly placed. Fashanu beating Gillespie, I think it was, and certainly beating Grobbelaar. The injured player is Alex Watson. The rules about substitutions, incidentally, in the Charity Shield is that the managers there, Kenny Dalglish, they've named 5 players, and any 2 can be used, rather like a European or international tie. And obviously Ronnie Moran is concerned because Alex Watson took quite a knock on the face and has been patched up there. Now John Martin has spotted something else going on off the ball, and this time it's Eric Young and Peter Beardsley who seem to be the players singled out. Well, they said it was a charity match and it was all going to be very low-key, but I tell you what, there's an awful lot going on out there. And a lot of it revolving around Young. Sanchez header. And away by Corley. Barnes. Houghton, Sanchez. John Martin is just keeping an eye over his shoulder all the time. He knows there are some personal tussles that are just bordering at the moment on the edge of legality. Carlton Fairweather looking for Fashanu. He's up against Watson. Terry Phelan with the ball in. Well, we're just over halfway through the first half, and surprise, surprise, Wimbledon are winning again. Forward by Whelan, lovely running by McMahon, and Tracy, he's learned a few tricks from Besant, but Barnes can get it back in, and Aldridge has scored for Liverpool. The goalkeeper was stranded, and John Aldridge puts Kenny Dalglish's side back to 1-1. And Simon Tracy, in Wimbledon fashion, came a long way out of his area to head that ball away. But the quick thinking of John Barnes, I'm sure when we see this again, initially a good run by McMahon, but Tracy's header dropped to Barnes, and look how quickly he got the ball into the middle, and how Aldridge put that away sweetly with the first touch on 23 minutes. Well, I suppose if one player is under threat with the return of Ian Rush, it has to be John Aldridge, so he's got a reason to be particularly satisfied with that equaliser. Here's Beardsley. Barnes. Fashanu. Wise. Barnes again. They're just testing the goalkeeper with 1 or 2 of these teasing through balls, seeing how far he's going to come, and certainly he was somewhat unlucky to pay for that earlier advance. That was Young, and that was Whelan. Now Barry Venison, and McMahon takes a tumble, pushed over by Sanchez as they were running through the midfield. This is Venison. Now it's Whelan. McMahon's made a through run again, and Young covered. I think Wimbledon are getting caught out just a little bit by the runs from midfield of McMahon. That was a back heel by Ryan that didn't come off, and here's McMahon again. Gillespie. Now Barnes, away from Scales. Well saved. Well, this lad would seem to be a good stopper of shots. He's twice foiled John Barnes in that respect, because he was clear here, Barnes. And Simon Tracy, despite going downwards, leaned up to turn it over. Here's Houghton. Barnes. The Royal Box further forward these days than in time gone by. There's Sam Hammam smiling, the Wimbledon owner, who's made a few headlines himself this week. But here's Fashanu. It's a foul by McMahon. Wise with the kick. Sanchez. Scales. Fashanu's in there again, and Grobbelaar this time able to set Liverpool in motion with Beardsley. And now Aldridge. Scales. Wise. He's having a good half, Dennis Wise. He's so highly regarded among the present crop of Wimbledon players. And Watson's acquitting himself well. Fairweather dropping back a bit here, and McMahon unchallenged. Sanchez. One all at half-time, and the goal scorers were the leading marksmen for their respective clubs last season. John Fashanu, who finished with 21 then, scored the first today, and then John Aldridge, whose total last season was 29, equalised for Liverpool this afternoon after 23 minutes. DJ Bear is a figure you'll see on various football grounds this season, promoting safety and goodwill among supporters, trying to encourage the promotion of family enclosures. And talking of safety and seating, it's a new look Wembley too, with seats in what used to be known as the upper standing bays. It means the overall capacity of the stadium is coming down, but it means there will be more seats. And in these days of comfort and also trying to come to terms with the safer side of watching football, I think both are good innovations. Wimbledon start their league programme next week with a home match against Arsenal, while Liverpool are also in the south. They're playing Charlton Athletic at Selhurst Park. Here's Barnes. Managers always insist that all these pre-season matches are merely a build-up to the real thing. But there's no doubt that Liverpool would like to correct, in their terms, what happened here last May. There's Tom Saunders there in the suit. He's played a very important part at Anfield behind the scenes for many, many years in terms of spotting and obtaining young players. Ray Houghton now. Oh, Corley, it's a big day for him. He played here in the Mercantile Credit Tournament, actually, for Wimbledon last season, but he's never played in the league for them. And Kenny Dalglish has also thrust an inexperienced man in at number 6, and Alex Watson. So, two young men there with a chance to prove something on quite a big stage. The back heel by Beardsley found Venison, but there was an offside flag up anyway. This is Gibson, who gets the free kick against Watson. It's quite amazing, actually, that Besant was ever present for 7 seasons. So, although this lad's been at Wimbledon 5 years, he's never had a chance to get a game. Here's Wise, Gibson, and Fashanu, blocked by Gary Ablett. And even Fashanu gives him an encouraging push on the back for that one. Vaughan Ryan to take the throw. Eric Young is in the penalty area. Ryan again. That's Young. Well, Bobby Gould quickly reaching for a tracksuit top. And just look at that. This is supposed to be a lovely August afternoon. Well, they don't mind the rain. It's very blustery out there just now. Beardsley going down at the feet of Young. It's going to make the top surface greasy as well. There's Laurie Sanchez. By the way, there's no extra time in the Charity Shield. If the scores are level after 90 minutes, the two clubs hold the trophy for 6 months each. Well, that's Phelan and Aldridge. And there's a bit of trouble. The linesman couldn't have been better placed to see it. It was right under his nose. And John Martin has to reach for his notebook, which is a bit of a shame on what's supposed to be a charitable occasion. But certainly no love lost between John Aldridge and Terry Phelan. Yellow card for both players. We've been playing for an hour. The score is 1-1. And if you add the 60 minutes today to the 90 minutes in the cup final, I suppose you could say that Liverpool have failed to get in front against Wimbledon in 150 minutes of football at Wembley. Here's Fairweather. Houghton. Free kick's been given. The Wembley pitch has taken quite a strain this summer with various events, not just football, and the rain is certainly going to make it pretty muddy in parts. Barnes chips it inside nicely, and Ablett's there. And John Scales got it behind when Eric Young almost put it in his own goal. Well, they were close there through Gary Ablett. This is Barnes. Watson's in there. Whelan's arriving. Beardsley. Barnes is away on the left if he can find him. Vital interception by Scales. Well, I can't ever remember seeing rain like this at Wembley at any time of the year. Halfway through the second half then in the Charity Shield match, Liverpool 1, Wimbledon 1. It's been that way since the 23rd minute. Here's Terry Gibson to John Fashanu. Now Ryan. Scales. Wise. And in nips Peter Beardsley. Offside against Barnes. Once again, Wimbledon's defence has frustrated Liverpool's attacking ambitions. There's no question that they found a way of playing against them, which seems to stifle Liverpool at source most often. Scales. Ablett. Beardsley's touch, nicely done. That's the combination between Beardsley and Barnes here. There are two waiting across, Aldridge and Houghton. Still Barnes. Aldridge. Yes, that will do nicely. John Aldridge, who possibly affected more than most by Thursday's news regarding Ian Rush, has now scored both goals here today for Liverpool. And this was a nice one in every sense. Left foot control, a swivel, a right foot volley. You won't see many better goals inside the penalty area than that. Beautifully done in the 70th minute to give the league champions a 2-1 lead over the FA Cup holders. And the first time Kenny Dalglish's team have been ahead against Wimbledon at Wembley. John Barnes, the provider, with the cross. Aldridge lofted it, turned, and found the corner. So Wimbledon will now make a substitution. John Scales is the player coming off, and Andy Clement is the player who's gone on. Just going back to that move, it was interesting that again it was that Beardsley-Barnes combination on around the halfway line that set so many goals up last season for Liverpool that was really at the source of that move. Beardsley got Barnes away, and then once he started moving, the rest belonged to Aldridge, really. Here's Phelan. And that goes Fashanu again, and it might fall for Wise, or even for Fairweather. In fact, for neither. And Peter Beardsley flattened after a challenge by Eric Young, bringing both trainers on the pitch again. Just get the feeling that Kenny Dalglish might be glad to see the end of these matches against Wimbledon at Wembley. But Wimbledon might well have got level again here, actually. They had plenty of players in there. John Fashanu got a bit of a flick on it. It fell over Ablett's head to Wise, but neither he nor Fairweather could really strike the ball properly. Now, Wimbledon to make their second substitution. John Fashanu is going off. And the man to replace him is Robbie Turner, who did play a little part in Wimbledon's cup run last season. He scored in an earlier round against West Brom. And he takes the place of today's goal scorer, John Fashanu. Actually, last won the Charity Shield in 1982 when they beat Tottenham, Liverpool. Nice touch by Beardsley to Houghton. And Barnes will have to retrieve that. Free kick, Barnes on Wise. Barnes to Aldridge. Offside. Well, there's still time for Wimbledon. They've sent the two central defenders forward, Corley and Young, to try and snatch a draw. That was Turner's header, cleared by Whelan, back by Phelan. And here's Sanchez. Wise. Sanchez cross, four in the middle. Turner's there. So too was Young. And we're into the last minute of the match. Liverpool supporters whistling. The throw from Phelan going nowhere, and offside against Aldridge. Well, again, arms up from the taller men there. Oh, Corley, and now Wise. And away by Watson. Well, the really unlucky player there was Peter Corley. This is Sanchez. And he's still in there again. Well, that was unlucky on Wimbledon's part. Well, Wimbledon very close indeed there to snatching a share of the Charity Shield. So Liverpool win the Charity Shield, and John Aldridge scores both goals. Crowd of 55,000 seeing Bruce Grobbelaar make a couple of late saves as Wimbledon fought hard to share the honours, but Liverpool have turned round the result here last May, despite falling behind again today to a goal from Fashanu. But the Liverpool supporters on their way home will be talking about John Aldridge's reply to the signing of Ian Rush.
So Liverpool take their revenge, but not without difficulty as a result of Wimbledon's persistence, and are awarded their first trophy of the season. On the face of it, with the return of Ian Rush, it won't be the last. But will today's hero, John Aldridge, be collecting his share of the medals?
When did you first hear about Ian Rush returning, John?
I just heard it on the radio in my house Thursday afternoon. I was playing snooker.
And your reaction to that?
Well, obviously Ian's a tremendous player, and for the club to have him, it's tremendous. But to do my own position, like, I've just got to play to the best of my ability and see what happens.
You do accept that if a player like Ian comes on the market, the manager has to be in there?
Yeah, well, I think if Kenny wouldn't have got him, I think some other club would have got him. So I've just got to accept it and just battle on. And as I say, the last word will be with the manager.
But you are at this moment, it's not a case of turning around and saying, well, Ian's coming back, it must mean me out of the side.
Possibly will. But as I say, all I can do is just try and make it hard for the gaffer, decision-wise, and just see what happens, Bob, you know.
Oh, he made it easy for the gaffer today, didn't he? But could they play in the same forward line? Do you see that part of Kenny Dalglish's plans?
Well, I think first of all, Ian Rush has got to get fully fit, but once he is fully fit and probably putting the goals away, I think it's very difficult for the two to play together. I think you could then got to ask Peter Beardsley to play a different role, and then it unbalances the midfield. And I honestly feel once Ian Rush is fully fit, then John Aldridge, 29-30, can't really linger in the reserves at that age, even at Liverpool, and I think perhaps he might have to move on. But great finishing today. I mean, you couldn't ask for more from him.
If he goes, where might he go?
Well, I suppose you've got to look at a couple of the big clubs. I mean, Arsenal, George Graham has been looking for a striker. Brian Clough, Nottingham Forest, needs a partner for Nigel Clough, perhaps.
Spurs bought everybody else, why not him?
Well, there's the petty cash will stretch that far. They've spent quite a few, Bob, haven't they?
Well, what worried me today wasn't so much the Liverpool attack. If I'd have been their manager,
Yes.
it was that impregnable defence from the past on which their achievements have been built. Didn't look like that today, did it?
No, I think Alan Hansen, who looks like being out for a few weeks, I mean, he is going to be a key factor in his absence. Gary Gillespie, obviously a lot of pressure on him now to take a dominant role. But I think if I was one of the top clubs hoping to challenge him, it's certainly in defence.
Yeah. In fact, Gillespie was beaten twice, wasn't he, in this goal?
Goalkeeper Simon Tracy replacing Dave Bennett, but John Fashanu did ever so well there. Then he motors into the penalty area, tennis-wise, as usual, makes space on the wing and just clears Gary Gillespie the cross, and very good header. I mean, Bruce Grobbler, no chance. John Fashanu at his best there in the penalty area. I mean, he caused a few problems in the air today.
Yeah, but not the Liverpool defence that they like to have.
No, I mean, that cost a goal, but I mean, just other areas, there wasn't quite the composure. I mean, Alan Hansen just settles them down. I mean, he seems to have so much time, whereas today they sort of hurried the ball out of their own penalty area and gave it away at times.
Hope for the rest of the First Division then. Right, now Simon Tracy, this young man who we were all saying how well he did when he came out to head that ball, but it ended in a bit of disaster.
That's right. I mean, to make his debut at Wembley, I mean, a lot of pressure on him. He did exceptionally well, and then just this instant, really, I mean, Peter Beardsley lays it back, Ronnie Whelan, good through ball, and Steve McMahon, suddenly seeing him come out, puts the brakes on, and he does everything right, really, except it goes to John Barnes. One touch, whips it in, and John Aldridge, a side foot sort of into the goal, really. I mean, it made it look easy, and it sort of was a bit of a soft goal. It's great finishing. I mean, great awareness, just tucked it away, no heroics trying to break the net, just put it into the open space.
Barnes and Beardsley switching to England rather than
Yes.
Liverpool. A chance really of them today to show that they recovered their form. They look far fresher than they did in the European Championship.
Oh, undoubtedly. I mean, Peter Beardsley chasing him, a little flick there. I mean, how many times last season did we see those two linking up on the halfway line? And once John Barnes gets going, I mean, Eric Young thinking to himself, crikey, slow down. But I mean, he did well to stay with him. At that stage now, he thinks to himself, well, I might have just held it up a bit. John Barnes making that little bit of space, pulls it back. John Aldridge did exceptionally well to keep it down. I mean, the first touch just controls it, and then the swivel, and I think Ian Rush has been quite impressed with that. Good bit of dancing by Peter Beards there, wasn't it?
Yeah, we do have the chance, I think, to see that again, which I would appreciate, because it shows a little bit of luck, but also the subtlety of that Beardsley's touch from the throw-in. There it is now, and you'll notice it goes through the legs. It's aimed for Barnes. It goes through the legs.
John Scales, I mean, he must be choked because he's thought about intercepting it, just goes through the leg, and he's thinking to himself now, well, I hope this doesn't cost us a goal, because he's out of the game, and John Barnes again just
He's out of the
holding
game
it.
soon after because they subbed him.
Yeah, a bit unlucky actually. I thought he did quite well during the
But
game.
this cross here, if that Van Basten had done that, we'd have been applauding him as a genius, and that's Aldridge, who's you know, looks like being replaced in Liverpool.
He had a good European Championship, John Aldridge, really. I thought he played well for Republic of Ireland. Today, he got the couple of goals that he's been lacking at international level. But, I mean, it causes a problem for Kenny Dalglish. I mean, if you keep scoring, you can't really sell him, can you?
Right. Well, the England team in general, we should be following their progress on television as they hopefully qualify for the, you know, for the World Cup finals. But are the forwards, the strikers, the midfield players, the main worry? Wouldn't you say it was in the centre of the defence?
Well, I think we've got to clarify. I mean, the summer was very disappointing. We played badly, didn't do ourselves justice, and certainly the one sort of damaging area, because in the qualification it was our defence that is our foundation, and that's the area I think before the Swedish game in October we've got to get it right. Obviously we've got Terry Butcher, but apart from Terry Butcher I think the other three places are fairly open, and Bobby Robson himself at this stage might not know who those other three are going to be. So that's the area we've got to make sure we don't concede goals, because we've got to win that game.
And the fact that we defend in so many numbers over here really made central defenders lazy. They're good at heading away. They're good at meeting crosses. They're good at ploughing into the back of people. But when they meet the kind of skill that a Van Basten or a John Aldridge can do, they struggle.
Yes, I think one of the biggest frustrations is the offside in our game. We use it so excessively, whereas at international level, you know, Koemans, the Rijkaards, the Barazis, I mean, they don't rely on that because they only play with one striker up. So defenders are asked to defend, not just sort of get the protection of offside. So our game, unfortunately, is sort of, I think defenders can hide with the offside rule, whereas at international level, apart from the defending factor, they've also got to get that confidence and composure. I mean, a bit like Alan Hansen, not there today, and Liverpool lack that, and he's one of the few players you can compare with the continental defenders.
Ron Greenwood, I know, would like to see English clubs play with a sweeper and not use the offside tactic as much. Would you go along with that?
I think it's going to be a brave man that introduces it. I mean, I enjoy watching that style myself, but of course, managers, once the season gets underway, the pressure is going to be there for results, and it's just who's going to make that decision. Certainly, I would like to see it, because I think at international level, that is one of our weaknesses at the moment.
Well, thanks very much. Not a bad start to the season anyway. Let's hope it improves even more from then on. Well, they've been playing in earnest up in Scotland, and Dundee United this afternoon lead the Scottish Premier Division as the only club with maximum points after 2 games. They beat champion Celtic 1-0, and with Kevin Gallagher's goal bringing sweet revenge for last season's Scottish Cup final defeat. Rangers had the biggest crowd of the day, but the 42,000 people at Ibrox saw them held 0-0 by Hibernian. And these 2 clubs are a point behind Dundee United. English and Scottish fixtures return to the pools coupons today, but I'm afraid you'll not be winning your fortune if you've got 24 points. There were 14 score draws and 4 no-score draws. No claims are needed, and the dividend forecast is low. These are the score draw numbers: 12, 14, 15, 16, 25, 26, 29, 30, 41, 46, 49, 51, 52 and 53. And the no-score draws numbers 11, 22, 43 and 50. So as always, we look forward to the new season with high expectation, remembering 92 managers who are on the rack again. There'll be disappointments, it's true, but also moments of ecstasy when everything works properly, highlighted by Kenny Dalglish's reaction to the build-up and the scoring of Liverpool's winning goal. Good night to you.
Beardsley's touch, nicely done. That's the combination between Beardsley and Barnes here. There are 2 waiting across, Aldridge and Houghton. Still Barnes. Aldridge. Yes, that will do nicely.
The power and the glory of Liverpool's last season are captured on this BBC video, available now for only £9.99.